Josh Allen, latest. Apparently, they're doing the day-to-day, right? But doesn't practice. But isn't that an indicator of okay? Like when we were joking around a bit, like the Bill Belichick piece of it, it was the why are you effing around? Is there really that big a difference? Da da da. I guess Josh Allen to Case Keenum, there's a big enough of a difference that the head coach should be like trying to run as much subterfuge as he possibly can.
It changes everything. I know we get wrapped up on it changes a lot for the Patriots, but it changes the season for the National Football League if this guy is hurt. He's an MVP candidate. He's on a Super Bowl favorite. He's on one of the few teams that people can stamp as good, like reliable, good team you expect to be there late January, early February. And then obviously from a Patriots perspective, he's a quarter of your remaining schedule, a guy you can't make punt. So I'm interested in, and I think I said this to you, Gresh, or maybe I said it last night on NBC Sports Boston on my television hit, that this feels a little Chris Saley to me. Like, oh, we're gonna slow play this, and he's got a weird elbow, but he doesn't need surgery, and we'll see how it goes and see how it feels. And I know the Patriots kind of did that with Mac, right? It was like, he's literally going to focus on the rehab day-to-day. We'll see how he feels tomorrow. We'll see how. But I think that's a little bit different with even a high ankle sprain is an ankle sprain. Like, this is the guy's moneymaker. Literally his moneymaker, his right arm. And I don't know if you guys saw the highlights on the throw later, not the deep one down the left side, but like the little comeback on the right side to Diggs where he doesn't get it there. And then he immediately grabs for the elbow, and then his lineman is right near him and like looks down at the elbow like, uh-oh. Like you can almost see that guy thinking, oh, we're porked. If that hurts, if he can't make that throw, we are screwed. And I think it will be a terrible blow for the league, everybody involved, obviously, certainly the Bills.
And it is crazy, too. You mentioned how the Patriots have still 2 games left with the Bills. Last year, the Patriots had that run where it was no Chubb, no Ridley, no like a whole string of guys they didn't have to play. And maybe they'll get no Josh Allen. Now that we're at the bye week, 9 games into the season, Hart, give me a guy on the Pats that you think has played way above what you thought, and then give me one that has played below.
Certainly way above would be the year 6 jump for Deatrich Wise. I think he's been really good, and they've needed him to. Like, they've had him out there for a high percentage, like 80% of the snaps in a lot of games, and he has obviously benefited from playing with and or opposite Matthew Judon, who might be one of the best or the best defensive player in football right now. But he's been out there. He's been healthy. He's been more impactful against both the run and the pass. I think he already he already surpassed his career high in sacks with a half a season to go. So he's been really, really good and taken over kind of a leadership role as a captain on this team. So really, I think everything about Deatrich Wise, because the last couple of years, Bill re-signs him, and I feel like some people are like, why does Bill like him? Like, why is he here? What does he do? Why did they bring him back? And now I think you're seeing some fruits of his labor paying off and why he is here and what Bill does like about him. Underperformed. So how about we go offensive line in totality?
Yeah, there's a lot of choices on offense.
To me it's the offensive line because on some level, before we even get to Mac and Patricia and all that, the problems stem from the offensive line, and they've been bad. Isaiah Wynn maybe is the poster child for that, who has been penalties. He's been, pass rushes allowed, sacks allowed for Mac getting hit.
Should he be highlighting the tackles maybe more than the whole O-line just in terms of the
Cole Strange?
But the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He went up against men, and as we were talking yesterday.
He's going to go against men.
I get it.
Freaking first-round starting left guard. There's going to be men on the other side of the ball every week that get paid money.
But I think when you go from David Andrews to Tommy Boy Ferentz, unless you're going to sit here and get fired up to defend Tommy Boy Ferentz, that's a big drop-off that affects a rookie.
Yeah, so is he going to give some of his check to David Andrews? Because the last I looked, he's a professional. He needs to stand on his own 2 feet and not need David Andrews to hold his damn hand for him. He's a first-round guard. Sack up. Let's go. Do your job.
I agree. I mean, I would never draft a guard in the first round, but if you are going to draft one, that guy should just play. Plug and play and just play the whole time.
And be good and not hit the rookie wall like it looks like this guy may have, or, hit grown men in week 7 or whatever he is now.
Do you think he's toast for the rest of the year then?
No, I don't.
Because you made it sound like it there. That's why I was asking.
I don't like the trend.
Yeah, it's not going great.
No, it isn't.
Is terrible. And as much as I laugh and poke fun at you, Gresh, he did face a couple really good players. Like Bill Belichick's comparing DeForest Buckner to Aaron Donald. And while I don't think that's accurate, like he's a high-level top 5 type defensive tackle.
But guess who they play coming out of the bye? Quentin Williams again.
Right.
Like there he is again. Like there's going to be some dudes that you face.
Defensive lineman in the league.
Well, that's why they need
out practice.
Well, that's why they need Andrews back.
Well, I've always said that. Like, we do this sometimes, like, bad matchup. In any sport. Whatever. Bad matchup. Well, if you say bad matchup in the football season, so there's 17 games, if you say bad matchup like 4 or 5 times, well, the guy's not that good.
Yeah.
Like, because at some point he should be a good matchup. Like, he's a professional. He plays that position. It's like slot corner. Oh, that's a bad matchup for him. Oh, that's a bad match. Well, then he's not a very good slot corner because that's his job.
How do they go about fixing the offense? If you're Bill Belichick yesterday, you sit down, you walk into the conference room, what do you say?
We're porked, guys. Why don't you guys take a break? I know you've been working hard.
He did that for the defensive side. He sent those guys home yesterday.
Yeah, no, I do think finding consistency on the offensive line, some form or fashion, is the first part of that. And then this build-up that I do believe they've begun with the confidence of their quarterback, primarily him, praising his toughness, praising his ball security, praising his awareness, poo-pooing the all-22 crew, as Christian likes to call him. It says, he missed a guy that was open on the backside. Like, Bill continues to shoot a lot of that criticism of Mac down. And I think we talked about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. He needed to do that. Like, he needed to start the Cam Newton-type approach and PR campaign of building Mac back up. So I think building Mac up, fixing that relationship with Mac over this week is important. And then I would just say get back to the fundamentals. Run the damn football with Ramondre Stevenson. Forget that you wanted to grow the offense and close the gap with the Bills. Play action, throw the footballs, like baby steps. I think they're in baby steps land.
Do you think when Belichick acknowledged that C.J. Mosley 2 weeks ago and Shaq Leonard this week knew the offensive plays a bunch of times, do you think that is the closest thing we've gotten to him taking a shot at Matt Patricia?
It's close. I hope not. Because, again, Bill, you put Matt Patricia in this position. He's ill-prepared. I feel like all of the Patriots' problems right now, we predicted. The general media. The offensive line, boy, that looks like a house of cards. Not sure how that's going to work out this year. Why'd you trade your best offensive lineman and replace him with an unknown rookie from a low? And then, wow, you hired a couple offensive coaches that look like they may be questioned. Everything that we're seeing come to fruition in a negative way, we talked about all offseason, all spring. And so I think it's really early, 9 games into Matt Patricia's NFL offensive coaching career, for Bill to kind of be throwing him under the bus. But it's hard to not take it that way to some degree. Like, we're so bad, and we're bad even if the other team doesn't know our plays. But now we have tells. They know what we're doing. That was strange, and I'm not sure why he was so borderline cheery discussing it. Well, that's a great point, Mark. Mark Daniels was the one who brought it up.
Yeah, no, it was like because I think I read it first and then I heard the audio after, and I was surprised that it wasn't like either laced with sarcasm or like annoyed. Like, he actually answered it pretty straightforward, and he kind of ended it with some compliments, like, well, those are really good players, and every once in a while they think they know what's coming and they don't. But no. He was talking about they need to add layers to the offense. It's not there, and it's not a good sign when it feels like the linebacker on the other team was in your huddle. That's a bad thing.
Well, the other thing, too, is we for 20 years here, whether it was Charlie Weiss or Bill O'Brien or Josh McDaniels or whomever, motion shifts, personnel matchups, we've seen none of that. And to me, that's a fair criticism that Bill Belichick could have, is that the defensive coordinator, he handed over the offense to a defensive coordinator. You would think the D coordinator would have at least a half a step ahead of saying, hey, I know what I'm going to get if I motion this guy or something like that. Instead, motion in this offense feels like, well, if I take the wide receiver and I motion him to be right by the tackle, we tell everybody that we're going to run it.
Right, and you're right. One of the strengths Matt Patricia should have as an offensive coach, one of the few, is that he was scouting offenses. Like, he knows what he was looking for tells and predictability and tendencies and those types of things. And for whatever reason, they haven't been able to avoid those or mask those. I'd also say for years, you bring up Josh McDaniels. We heard like maybe it's too complex. Oh, receivers can't learn it. Young guys can't learn it. It's too hard. It's too hard. It's too hard. Okay, so we spent the offseason streamlining it and dumbing it down, and we've dumbed it down so far that the other team knows exactly what we're running. Like, that's bad. Like they're a debacle. I mean, like that. I mean, I throw that word around too much, but offensively,
no, it is.
They are a debacle right now.
Well, and yet 5-4,
right?
Yes.
They're 5-4 because the league stinks. The league the defense is good. No, the defense is legit good.
Okay,
this is also. You talk about like things that we predicted. You go back to those training camp practices, and again, the three of us were there. We're all sitting there watching them, and the big takeaway after every day was, "Holy crap! The offense can't even run a play." And we're wondering, is the offense that bad or is the defense that good? Turns out, yes. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit. It turns out to be a little bit of both. It seems like, they're fully committed to Mac Jones, and I think people aren't blaming Mac Jones for all of the offensive woes. But is there any scenario short of injury in the second half where you think they could turn back to Bailey Zappe?
No. Other than like true wheels fall off like stupid, 9 interceptions in one game or something just absolutely.
There's just no long drives, though. Like, there's no touchdowns and there's no sustained drives. They have back-to-back wins, but it's like all defense and special teams.
Oh, yeah, they got the ball on the 2, and the first thing they did is back up to the 3.
That's true.
Before they scored. And that's a successful red zone trip. He threw a touchdown. Which,
it's a touchdown
by
pass,
the way,
you get the ball on the 2-yard line.
And Ramondre Stevenson had to use his receiver's gloves and reach out for a a really nice grab a big back in the end zone there.
You know how good Ramondre Stevenson is?
How good is he?
He's good in this offense.
That's a good line. That's a solid line.
I might tweet that.
That's why people don't like you and snark and all that, but that's a good line right there. The Mac thing, to me, he's part of the problem, clearly, and I'll be honest, I'm a little inconsistent on this because I've always said, a lot of people will say, well, you can't throw the rookie out there. Like, you might break him. You might do damage to him. And I've always been the one that says, well, if he's the guy, if he's truly special, if he's a franchise leader QB type, you won't break him. If he breaks, he's probably not the guy. And this year, I think Mac has been broken by everything that's gone on around him and the results that have gone on with the offense and everything. So that brings you back to the question, is he the guy? Is he fixable and he's still the guy? Or are you now more dubious of the idea and this restacking of the 2021 quarterbacks week to week, like Justin Fields is now the man? A few weeks ago, I saw Justin Fields standing at the podium saying basically he's sick of being close, he's sick of losing, he just wants to win. And then he played the Patriots, and things have taken off from there.
Minus losing by 20 to the Cowboys, but okay.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for him personally, like confidence-wise, he looks like a different guy. Like, he's got a little swagger. The swagger we talked about Mac had last year, all the players. Yeah. Jonnu Smith, Matthew Judon, they all talked about, wow, this kid's got swagger. I didn't know he had swagger. You know what Mac Jones has none of right now? Swagger. He has no confidence, faith, trust, and that's a tough place to be as an NFL quarterback, cornerback. Like, there's certain positions where if you've lost it, you can't hide it. You're in the spotlight. You're on an island, whatever you want to say. So that may even actually be the priority over the offensive line. Like, I think they're connected, but you got to get Mac back to feeling like he's demand.
Well, and you're not going to get either one of these overnight and maybe ever, but if it was up to Mac Jones, would he rather have an awesome offensive line or a genius offensive coordinator?
I'm going to say awesome offensive line because I think he has some faith in himself to figure it out mentally. Like the mental part is a strength of his game. So I think if you said, I'm going to give you 3+ seconds on every play, we got 5 guys that are going to protect you every play, I think he would figure out how to work with that. And it's funny because you said that, and I thought you might actually go, would he rather have the offensive line or guys that can get open? Because that's also another issue for this team.
Add it to the list. Yeah.
Gresh, should we tell him my little secret weapon idea for changing the Patriots offense over the second half of the season?
Sure.
Yeah, might as well.
You missed a couple days.
I did.
Marcus Jones, your punt returner, played a little offense in college.
Why not?
You need to. I don't care if
you don't even need to sell me. No, fine. When they drafted him, that was one of the things. You're like, oh, the guy can play slot receiver, slot corner. He's had some good returns.
All 3 phases. Let's go.
Just hand it to him. It's by the way, it's what we were saying about Kendrick Bourne at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but I've given up on that idea. I don't know why, but I've given up on that.
Well, he can't catch. He can't do it. Yeah, we're done with that.
You broke
hand
him
it to him. Well, that's the other thing, too, is they broke him, too.
Yeah,
you broke him, too.
By the way,
not everybody can take tough coaching, apparently.
I got to tell you.
Apparently not this team.
Here's what's very interesting about this. For those who want Mac to fail, you're rooting for the offense to fail with an offensive coordinator who, if he got a new quarterback next year, would do what?
Oh, no, that guy would be pork, too.
Yeah. At least it feels like we're at that point now to where we've at least kind of figured it out. And
it's
now it is the
collective. So and that's like my joke about Ramondre Stevenson, but it's also legitimate. Like, he's so good. Think of what he's overcoming.
Oh, yeah.
No threat in the pass game, a bad offensive line, and everybody knows he's the one big playmaker, and he still makes big plays.
Well, I was just going to say, think of this. If they go 9-8 and eke in as a wild card at the 7 seed, does that make everything okay and they keep status quo? Like, that's the thing.
Oh, my God.
Do you root for them?
Not.
Do you root for them to take off like a rocket, or do you root for the tank job, depending on how you view the offense and all that?
Well, I would root for the takeoff like a rocket because I want them to be relevant. I want this to be fun down the second half of the season. And I think Bill Belichick's smart enough to know if they take off, okay, maybe Matt got comfortable. I don't know how that, but we still need weapons. The offensive line, I think
they would still have to add.
No, root against the Raiders, and then you at least get McDaniels back,
and then that fixes.
Well, it helps. I don't know if it fixes
7/10 of it. Right?
Yeah, it helps. And then even if you want to keep Patricia, be like, all right, you can focus on the O line now, which is in shambles, and leave the play call on somebody who's done it before.
Focus on lunch.
Yeah, that would be a nice solution.
Take care of that.
That's a shot. Jack Gresh, I mean, as a larger man, I don't think that's really a fair shot you should be taking. That's mean.
Oh, now he's the mean police?
Oh, listen to this guy now. All right. The only guy in Dartmouth to say no to improving a playground.
The cheese stands alone.
Smiles on faces. Never seen a kid so happy than go down a slide.
Dogs go down the slide and everything.
You're missing the point. The slide is already there and it works perfectly fine.
You need a better slide.
No, they don't.
Nicer swings.
Yeah, better springs on the seesaw.
See, now you're talking.
We made seesaw jokes at Andy's expense. That's why, because his feet don't touch.
You need more of those like wood chips or whatever. So when the kids take a digger, they don't completely
the synthetic
hurt
ones,
themselves.
the expensive synthetic
Have
ones.
Have you been to some of those ones that have like sort of almost like a bouncy turf?
Yeah. It already has that.
Well, they could do even better.
That's right.
Now they're getting the upgraded version of that, the 2023 version of that.
Lone voice. Now, when you were holding that sign out there, did anybody honk for you or no? You got any support?
He wasn't picketing.
No, it was
like a town meeting.
I was in it
was like, everyone stand who's against this.
The
only one that stood up was him. They were like, are you standing?
He's not on the overpass on the highway with the big sign.
No on 3. No on 3.
Like, isn't 3 the playground? Yeah, it is.
He hates kids.
Andy Hart at weei.com. Read him there. Thanks, Hart.
See you guys.